Hello everybody, today is May 15th, 2020, Friday. It is 5:45 p.m., 84 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 29 degrees Celsius, so a very warm day today, especially because earlier we had a snow day in May, and now we have summer type weather. Right now I'm on Central Park South, watching some pigeons eat some food, and today I'm going to be doing a narrated biking tour of 5th Avenue from 59th Street all the way to Washington Square Park. Seems like all my pigeon friends are leaving me right now, which is fine because I'm about to take off anyway. Seems like they just flew to the other side of the street. Anyway, let's get started here. Green light, let's go. I shouldn't expect too much traffic here because New York City is still on pause mode until at least May 28th. The governor extended the pause alert today. There's the Apple store. All Apple stores are closed as far as I know. I think they're scheduled to reopen with some safety measures in place. Here we have the retail stores, high-end retail stores at 5th Avenue, Van Cleef and Apparel, Louis Vuitton, Hublot, Bulgari. A lot of traffic here. I didn't expect this many cars and buses, but they're here. Harry Winston. I just passed the Trump Tower as well. Seems like more people are out today, taking advantage of the warm weather. Here's the Peninsula Hotel. They have a great display here during the holidays in the lobby. I remember last year when I went to check out that display, the person in the front door didn't let me go in. He said I could take pictures but not video. Oh wait, he didn't say that. I think he said that, oh, I can't just go in and start recording. .689 5th Avenue, nice architecture there. Here's Coach. Microsoft store. Empty, vacant storefront over there. Uniqlo 5th Avenue, largest Uniqlo in New York City, is closed due to coronavirus. Salvatore Ferragamo. It's amazing to see this once lively avenue turn into a ghost town. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a ghost town, I correct myself, but definitely a lot less activity than usual. Here's the Gothic Revival Cathedral, St. Patrick's, most famous cathedral in New York City. Rockefeller Center is across the street. I just saw that person going through the trash. It's a sign of the times, folks. I don't like to see stuff like that. People in need, people in trouble. But let's hope that, the city takes care of them and is able to extend their support to those who are in need and we shouldn't neglect those who are in need either. Rockefeller Center is completely closed. Atlas is still holding up the earth as usual. Here's Saks Fifth Avenue, which I think declared bankruptcy. So this may be the last time that Saks Fifth Avenue will be here. I don't really know though. They may just have like a restructuring plan and keep the flagship store open, who knows? A lot of stores say they go bankrupt, but they still survive in some form or another. I think many of the airline companies are prime examples of that. I don't know how many times American Airlines declared bankruptcy, but they still come back all the time. Here's Jewelers on 5th and the start of the Diamond District. No one here is buying diamonds now. I know many people who ask me if it's a good time to come to New York City during this time. And I have to be honest and say, no, it's not. Because a lot of things that make New York interesting for most people who come here, the tourist attractions, the activity, it's no longer here. Plus, it is very difficult to get a restroom now. Before, you have to go into restaurants, shopping centers, retail stores in order to use the restroom. But now, many of those places are closed. So it's very, very tough now to even find a restroom. Yesterday, I was in the World Trade Center Oculus. This is a transportation hub for Lower Manhattan, and all their restrooms are closed. So even the transportation hub has the restroom closed. So where they expect people to use the restroom and do their business? I don't know. There's Best Buy, electronics retailer, closed. Someone in need there on the side. Another thing I don't like to see. Another person in need. Here's the world famous 42nd Street with the Bryant Park Main Library. It's actually, the official name is called the Stephen A. Schultzman Building or Schwartzman Building. It's the New York Public Library's main branch. If I were to ride my bike 2 blocks to the west, I'd hit Times Square. But today I'm going down 5th Avenue. There it is, 42nd Street, very quiet. Down that way is Grand Central Terminal. And if you take this all the way down to 1st Avenue, 42nd Street that is, you'll hit the United Nations. Here we go, New York Public Library. 125 years old now. Incredible. And they have the lions there dressed up in books. Or I should say, dressed with books. I Love New York store closed. Army vet is homeless. Very sad. I'm seeing a lot more retail space available now. I read an article that said that at least 1/4 of all the restaurants won't make it through this situation here, this economic crisis we're going through. There aren't too many restaurants here on 5th Avenue though, but I think a lot of the vulnerable retailers will make it through this crisis. Only the strongest will survive through here. I know the Gap store on 34th Street and Broadway, that store has completely vacated. The Gap used to be a powerhouse retail brand in the 90s, but now it's just struggling. There's 37th Street, absent of all the Empire State Building ticket sellers. If you were to come here during normal times, they'll be hawking for tickets to see the Empire State Building, which includes a ride on the Sky, I think they call it the Sky Ride, New York Sky Ride, and it's just a rip-off. You should go to the main office to buy the tickets to the observation tower, the official tickets. A lot of people reviewed the New York Sky Ride and they said it was an old movie from the 80s that they haven't edited and updated, and I want anyone to be subject to that. Here's the 34th Street. Well, what am I saying? 5th Avenue and 34th Street looking up. This is the Empire State Building. I think it is the most iconic building in New York City, from my standards anyway. It was made very famous by the movie King Kong. Wow, look at that. There's a prime retail space over here on this corner. I think this used to be Dwayne Reed, or maybe Chipotle. I know Starbucks has a location here also, but wow. I know it must be very expensive to rent a space in the Empire State Building. Oh no, that wasn't Chipotle. This is a corner spot. Chipotle I still see is open. A lot of cops here by the Empire State Building though. 3 cop cars. Walgreens is making a delivery. There's Love Korean Barbecue. Koreatown is down this block. Usually it should be very lively around this time, Friday night, especially now the weather's warmer. Most of the restaurants now are hurting really badly. 31st Street is all milled, getting ready for repaving. Now the Flatiron building is in full view. Originally it's called the Fuller building. It's built in the early 1900s. If you look up an old movie on YouTube, I think they have video clips of some person there right next to the Flatiron building with a top hat, and the wind just blows his top hat off, and he goes and chases after it. I know every time I pass by that location, it's always windy around there, so that scene exactly tells the truth. Even decades later, that area is still the same with the wind. I don't know what it is with that area. Maybe it's because it's a channel or something for the wind to take hold. But there's a lot of scenes in New York like that which use the wind. Probably one of the most famous is Marilyn Monroe. She stood on top of a subway grate, and when the subway passed underneath, it lifts up her skirt. There it is. Money shot right here. Madison Square Park seems to have quite a bit of people in there. There's another person in need walking up Fifth Avenue towards me. These are the people who really need our help because they have no home to go to. I see a line to get into the Italy, the Italian supermarket and grocery store. You know, since the Italy is open, I think if you do need to use an emergency restroom, that can be an option. I know I was waiting in line at the Whole Foods in Columbus Circle one time, and the security guard said that I doubt that the restrooms are open in Whole Foods. So it's kind of like really hard to find something now. I'm just gonna go this way because I just noticed the bike lane's on this side. Safer to go over here. There's the Flatiron Plaza. There's 23rd Street. Also milled, getting ready to be repaved. It's good to see that the city is still doing infrastructure projects and repairing our streets and keeping our city maintained while this is all going on. Seems to me like it'll be a good time to do it. Right now is the time to do infrastructure work, repair the subways, but if the city didn't budget properly with the loss in taxes and business, I don't know if they'll be able to do everything. It's kind of a study for an urban planner. You know, you kind of have to balance the benefits of borrowing money if you don't have enough in order to repair something or start a new project up. I think that was one of the main issues during the Great Depression. FDR issued the New Deal and the government had to borrow a lot of money to take on all these infrastructure deals, and it was widely criticized. But in today's times, I don't really hear any kind of talk of infrastructure spending at all. It's kind of a balance between like infrastructure spending, social needs, health needs. A lot of things go into making a city. It's not just the roads. Seeing the people in need back there just goes to show you that there are much bigger things in the city going on now that need to be addressed. Here's another famous retail area, Banana Republic, Gap Kids, both owned by the Gap company. Who knows if these will survive? Zara, Aldo, Lululemon. I think Lululemon should do well now. J. Crew. A lot of the businesses who sell products to people who are staying at home, like exercise equipment, bike training equipment, I think that kind of stuff can do pretty well now. What I'll do is I'll take this main lane so I can still go through the green light. Let's go back into the bike lane. Here's the new school. I always like the architecture of this building. But schools and universities are getting really hit hard during this time. I know a lot of universities are trying to justify high tuition rates to many of these people who, you know, don't think that they can get as good of an education from an online class compared to an in-person class. And it's also difficult too to justify spending for room and board when there is no room and board space available. I know some families are even like suing their schools because they won't give them refunds for the room and board that they already paid for the whole year, even though they had to move out in the middle of the year. So these are all issues that have to be addressed now. I think I did see someone back there taking graduation pictures. It's kind of like virtual graduation ceremonies going on now. A little bit weird to see. But this is around the time where NYU graduates, I believe. Maybe we'll get to see some graduation in Washington Square Park, I don't know. Caps and gowns. It does seem like Washington Square Park has some people in there. All right, time for the trick to take the main lane again, because the bike lane has a red light. All right, let's see. Any caps and gowns for NYU students? I think I'll walk through Washington Square Park and then end the video. Let's go. Here's the Washington Square Arch, celebrating George Washington's inauguration as president. Two forms of the president. You got the general and you have the politician. All right. Any caps and gowns here? All right, Washington Square Park is slowly getting back to normal. I hear some music playing. The skateboarders are out in full force here by the fountain. You know, once upon a time, this fountain wasn't aligned perfectly with Fifth Avenue, and the city had to spend so much money in order to align it the right way. Now it's aligned perfectly with Fifth Avenue. I'll show you when I turn around here. There we go. Nice to see people out here having a good time. All right, folks, I think I'm going to end this video here at the southern end of Washington Square Park with a view of the Freedom Tower in the background. But if you enjoyed this ride down Fifth Avenue, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below, and I'll see you all next time. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.